Hi. Hey, I'm new to YouTube. My name's John. The name of this channel, uh, channel ID, I guess, is Just Skating. It's the only thing I could think of. Just skating through life, just skating around the planet, you know, getting by, trying to get through it. I've got a few things to talk about today, and hopefully we can talk more in the future as I travel around because I do travel and I do intend on making a few of these videos to see, how it works for me and how it works for you as well. So if you enjoy what you're seeing as we go through this, I'll upload more videos as time goes by, but feel free to subscribe, like them. You know the deal if you've been watching YouTube. So the first thing is work. My job, I travel with my job. And so it's kind of like a contract work. Contracts are 3 months. I go to different locations around the U.S., work for 3 months. If the work is good and the people I'm working for want me to stay longer and I like being there, then we can do another 3 month contract. Typically, I've stayed in places 6 months, 9 months, a year. I'll go on vacation and I usually take off several months at a time when I do go. And several times I've come back to the same place. I'll call when I get back, ready to go back to work, and ask them at the location if they're looking for help, if they're interested in having me go back. Then, if they say yes, then I'll let my agency know that I'm going to go back to work there, and they can just set the contract up. It's pretty simple. If I have to look for work, it's no more than a 10 or 15-minute phone call, like an interview over the phone, for places that need help, temporary help, 3 months at a time. Could be 6 months, but the contract's 3 months. So if they're looking for help, then we can usually figure it out in a 10 or 15-minute phone call, if it's going to be a fit. They talk about the scheduling responsibilities. I let them know what I need, which isn't much. I come to work, so that's easy. If I need time off, though, that's the time I would tell them. Any time off during that 3 month period. And if they agree and that everything sounds good to both of us, then we can push forward and begin working. So, anyway, I'm up here. I'm in a northern state right now in the U.S. It is winter time, so yeah, freezing. But I'm in 6 month right now, so I've completed 3 months. I've started another contract. It's a possibility I'll do another one after that, so I'll be here 9 months. You don't know till you get a little bit closer to the end. Their needs, they've got a lot of new hires, so their needs are decreasing for these travel workers, which is good for them. But I'll help them to the end of their needs because it's a good fit for them and me as well. So, and I was up here last year. I worked for 6 months, went on vacation. Actually, I was gone for about 8, maybe 9 months, and then came back. And so now I'm in, I guess, my fourth month. I finished that first contract, now starting the second one. So I've been here 4 months now. And it's great. I love the job. I love what I do. So it doesn't feel so much like work. You still have to get up and go and do the work. But when you like what you're doing, it makes a huge difference. It does to me, and I'm sure to most people it does. Uh, you know, the money was better than I expected, when I started doing this some years ago, uh, which is great. I mean, because I don't know, maybe I didn't have really expectations, of how much it was. It's not enormous, but when you're when you've only worked, you know, jobs that just pay the rent, like most, you live week to week, and try to get by, pay the rent, keep food on the table, take care of the kids, when they were little. And we were all together. They're grown and on their own now. But at the time, you do what you have to do to get by. And I certainly did. So now, I can enjoy uh, some of this in a different way where I actually enjoy it. And so I wasn't doing this type of work back then, but I am now. I made that change about 10 years ago. And so I did that a little bit later in life, went back to school, got some, some education. I needed it because this is what I wanted to do. So here I am living the life, and I'm glad I did because it's really helped, really changed me as well. So yeah, it works out great. So with work and the way I work with these contracts, so after the 3-month contract is done, if I don't want to stay in a place where I'm currently at, I can just thank them and say no, thank you. If where I'm at, if they ask me to stay longer, they may need the help. I mean, I understand, but sometimes you just got to go. I'll just decline, say thank you, of course, and hopefully I can come back in the future. Because when you find a great place to work, I mean, you do want to go back and work. So, but that's when I'll go on vacation, and that's my time. I can take off 2 weeks. I can take off 6 months. Like I said earlier, the last vacation was 9 months. I left the first week of January in 2022 and came back middle of October 2022. So just 4 or 5 months ago, came back to the U.S. and that's pretty awesome. You can take off, go on vacation for 8 months, 9 months, or 4 months, or 6 months, whatever you can arrange. If you're working for a company, I get it. I did it my whole life. You're gonna be, lucky to get 2 weeks at a time, and that's just the way it is. But I'm just thankful I'm able to do this now. So, I mean, and you can too, but you have to pay the price, get the training, do what you have to do to get into that type of work. And a lot of jobs travel, so it's not just what I do. There is freedom out there, and hopefully you can find your way through this and get a piece of freedom because it's a lot of fun. The other thing that's really helped me to do this, you work, you make money. The one thing I tried to learn and try to remember is every time you make a little bit more money, I didn't always try to spend all the money I made. I mean, it's difficult when you're just living week to week. So it kind of ties in with reducing your debt. And so I did that and then learned not to live beyond my means and not to spend every dime I made. So those kind of have to go hand in hand. You really have to reduce your debt. And a couple of years ago, I got on board. It was probably 5 years ago. I got on board with these personalities on the radio. There's some podcasts, but really, I started listening to this guy on the radio talking about reducing debt, the debt snowball. Is that Dave Ramsey? There are others that talk about reducing debt too, and they all have their take on it. I just happened to listen to him one day, caught him on the radio, and I started listening to him regularly, and it was just listening to it over and over and over as he talked to different people through their problems. It came down to, the end results were going to be, to reduce debt. And maybe their problem was, he had specific details for them to follow or some advice he would give them specifically due, for their problems or their financial woes. So I just kept listening. Then I got his podcast and kept listening, and it was all just him talking to people, talking them off the ledge, so to speak, and getting them back on track with some financial freedom, the ability to retire, not have to work till they die, at 80. Try to get them back on track with that. And so what that did for me is I tend to be a little focused, so I picked up on what he was saying and I just applied it to me. I didn't have so much debt, like so many individual debts. I had a good deal of student debt, and there wasn't much more than that. But I'd learned to live within my means. I got that debt under control. That debt snowball thing really worked because it's exciting to eliminate one account, then go to the next one and pay it off and eliminate it. I mean, it's really invigorating. Once you start, you want to keep going because it's a reward. So I did it. It worked, and I lived debt free. You know, I started saving money. I started traveling abroad, um, and I tried to do that. I think since 2016, I started traveling overseas, and I would go over there. I started going over there for like a month and a half, because I was going alone, never been anywhere, and I just thought, I better just go a little bit, come back. I would go and then come back and work 6 months or 9 months, and I'd go again and another month, and then come back and work. And so I was saving money, and trying to get my retirement stuff straight, uh, and in the meantime, that's when I was paying that debt off. So I was doing a little bit of everything, and finally I paid everything off. I finally just said, stop traveling, which I didn't stop traveling for any length of time. I just, during one of those periods of work where I was in the U.S. for a year, I paid it off, got everything done. Then I also had to learn how to uh, stay overseas longer and keep things set up. I had to find a place for my car longer term. I just had to figure some things out, how to stay in a country, get a visa, how to stay there longer instead of having to jump around, because there were places I wanted to go and stay more than 30 days. And so as time went by, I figured this stuff out. And, it wasn't too bad. So now I can go over there and stay, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, like I just got back from. The year before that, I stayed 7 months. So this time when I go back, hopefully in August, if they still need help here, I'll stay longer. But I'm actually ready to go. Now I could easily go and stay, 8 or 9 months again. But I'll stay here till August. If they need me a little bit longer, then we can work something out and do a couple more months. It doesn't always have to be 3 months. If they need, they have some new hires. If the training's not done, I could stay till, do a 1 month contract or 2 month contract. So whatever, we'll work it out. So I've reduced the debt, got a job I like, a job I can take time off with, um, a lot of time off with. I just have to keep up with, um, any requirements I have to work, which those are pretty easy. I've been doing it for years now. I've actually been doing this for about 7 years now, this traveling work. 5 years probably debt free. And so I've had a few years now to kind of see, what's going on and kind of figure this out as I go through it. As far as, keeping up with retirement savings and then being able to travel. Now I'm learning how to travel and stay in an area and be a little more frugal. I don't need to go over as a tourist in this area as I'm at now, because I've been there a few times. Now I want to go hang out in an area for a while and just kind of live. Because, retirement's coming in a few years, and that could be where I end up. So I wouldn't mind that as well. So I'm going to check it out this next time. Try to be a little more stable as far as where I'm staying. And I tried that a little bit this last time, but, I like the beach, the islands. So I was jumping around a little bit, but I'd go to an area and stay for a month and a half. And that's pretty good. That gives you a taste of the area and where you're at. So I got some really good ideas where I'd like to go. I just, you know, need to figure it out a little better and maybe stay put for 6 months, see how that goes. So I think I'll try that. Got to try something. So I go, and I'll make videos when I'm over there too. So hopefully I can show some sights. If I can get enough subscribers, I'll do some live streams because I think that's where I'd probably be better off doing rather than uploading these videos. I'm not going to try to get a bunch of equipment. All I have is a small laptop and my phone. And so live streams would be easy. I could just do it on my phone as I drive around, get a little scooter and get something to hold the phone and drive around and talk. So we'll try that, see what happens. Right now I go to Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. I do want to go some other places, but right now those places are probably the main three spots I want to spend more time at. So I jump around in that area, that Southeast Asia. Great climate, great food, super affordable unless you're trying to live large. Or if you live at the bar, that's expensive because they don't give beer away, beer or drinks. So I'm not a big drinker anyway. So for me to live well within my means, I think it's going to be pretty easy. I mean, I do it here, so I can do it there just as well. So anyway, I think that's about all I want to try to talk about. I'd be happy to talk more about work, paying this debt down. I mean, you'll be shocked when it happens, the weight it takes off of your shoulders, getting rid of debt. I mean, you can't even imagine it now if you're drowning in debt, if you're paying minimum on everything. Believe me, I feel like I've done it my whole life until about 5 years ago, and finally it just worked, and so here I am. Thank God. So anyway, hopefully we can talk again and I can figure out how to look at comments, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to look at the comments and respond. But at this point, I'm just starting, so hit subscribe, hit like, that'd be awesome, and hopefully we can do this again soon. So anyway, I'm going to sign off here, and thanks. Talk to you soon.